And away we go.
Here's the place that makes you smile. Stick around and stay a while. We're the home of great TV. That's memorable. That's me.
Follow me, sir.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be our guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
All you have to do is watch me.
Are you kidding me?
Follow me.
That's memorable. That's me.
That's me.
Me TV.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Giddy up with westerns, we've got the best ones. Superhero sci-fi spin, grab the popcorn and stay in. Dramas, mystery, and action, take a look and see what happens. Carol, Andy, Lucy, MASH, timeless comedies full of laughs. Hey, that's me!
That's me. That's me, Chief.
Yeah, me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Thursday morning. Today we're talking about a potential teachers' strike. What do you think? 436-ME-TV option 11. Having difficulty this morning trying to get a response to get somebody from the district to come on this program. I want you to weigh in and I want you to call in. We do have a special guest on the way here to the studio to talk about this. The man once ran for mayor. Anyway, you're watching Connect with Me, and it starts right now.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Back here on the program on a Thursday morning. So glad you are here. Connect with me on Me TV Fresno. And today we'll be talking about the teachers' strike. It is an amazing story. So are the teachers, you know, when was the last time you saw anybody go on strike, right? Is this like an old-fashioned thing? Is this like a 1970s, 1980s type thing to go on strike? Are the teachers out of touch, or are they within their right to strike because they're not getting enough salary, enough benefits, enough retirement? You're talking about class size. We'll talk about all of that with our expert today here on the program. And I encourage you to call in, my friends. And here's the issue. I'm trying to get somebody from the district on here. Bob Nelson seems to be dodging me. I don't know why. We'll talk about that during the course of the program. Talking to Jessica Perez. She is the public information officer. And I'm getting nowhere with trying to get him back on the program, although she has offered me Ruthie Quinto and the chief negotiator. And we'll talk about this. In the meantime, you're watching us live on Comcast Channel 375 as usual. It's Comcast Cable, Xfinity. If you don't have Comcast Cable, it's okay, my friends. You have something else to turn to. You have an alternative. It's called 43.6, 13.1 over-the-air broadcast, and it's with a digital outdoor antenna. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 13.6 YouTube. 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. After that, you can go to venturabroadcasting.com and you can catch all of our shows. Just hit Connect with Me, the webpage there. It'll take you to YouTube and our channel. And of course, you can catch all the action, including of today's program with our guest. And we may even have 2. Okay, so talking about the teachers strike, you saw the front page of the Fresno Bee maybe earlier this morning. On Tuesday night, as we roll the videotape and check out this rally from earlier at Tulare near the headquarters at Fresno Unified. They voted on Tuesday night to go on strike. First time in 40 years they authorized a strike. How many teachers voted in favor? Well, John Bath, he's the chief negotiator for the union, says, at least he told me here a couple of days ago, it was between 24 and 2,500 teachers that said, hey, we want to go on strike. 13 opposed the strike. This was a stand-up vote. This wasn't an official secret ballot of any kind. It was a stand-up vote. They wanted to find out visually, from a visual aspect, how many of these teachers are on board. And so that's what happened. And basically they are concerned, according to John Bath, about class size. You have up to 40 children at any one particular time from K through high school. Now imagine being a teacher and having to teach 40 children. I'm not taking sides here. The other thing they're concerned about is salary and benefits, and health benefits specifically. They want a 90% and then 5% plan. Right now, I think they have 80-20. And Brooke Ashton, of course, he is the chairman of the board at the school board. He told me that they have offered them 90-10 on the health benefits. So out of pocket for health benefits is a very expensive proposition, if you know what I mean. These teachers could go on strike. At first, by state law, they have to come back to the negotiating table with the district, with a third party. In this case, the third party is going to come from Sacramento. And so once that happens, then if they do not come to an agreement, if they can't come to some sort of an agreement, then the teachers will have the right to walk out of the classroom and go to the picket line and strike for the first time since 1979. It is an amazing story to watch. It's Bob Nelson, the Fresno Unified School District, versus the teachers. Now again, I have tried desperately to try to get Bob Nelson back on this program. He was a guest at one time. John Bath and the other chief negotiator for the union were on here, but I'm dealing with the district public information officer. Her name is Jessica Perez. Pretty impossible to get Bob Nelson to come on this program, either this week, not next week. She told me, and I'm quoting now, it's hard to get Bob in here to come in early. He has to drive and leave at 9 o'clock, and he won't be out of here for, well, at least until 11:05. So he has to carve out at least a couple of hours a day out of his day to come into Ventura TV and be here. I asked her if he could come in and be on the phone, or not come in, but actually do a phone interview with Connect With Me. She said she'd get back to me. She offered me 2 other potential guests. We'll see if that's going to come through. But trying to get through to Bob Nelson and trying to get him back on this program has been difficult. For those of you who have called in and asked me, why don't I get the district's take on this? This is where I stand. I have called and called and called and still waiting for a response as to when someone from the district will be able to make an appearance on this program. Waiting for you to call in, 436 MeTV option 11. Back with our special guest in a moment.
Sing. Calling classics, calling the best. Calling favorites, be our guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. MeTV.
Me.
That's memorable, that's me.
That's me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me, TV.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the KitchenAid appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Save big with KitchenAid. Right now, get up to a $1,000 prepaid MasterCard when you purchase select KitchenAid appliances. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today. When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the KitchenAid appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Save big with KitchenAid. Right now, get up to a $1,000 prepaid MasterCard when you purchase select KitchenAid appliances. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
trying to resolve an issue, and that issue is the Fresno Teachers Association, whether or not they will go on strike. As you know, that vote on Tuesday night at People's Church was overwhelming. You had up to 2,500 teachers voting yes. We want to go to the picket line if these guys don't come through. And then you had 13 out of all those teachers at Fresno Unified. You had 13 teachers say, no, we don't want to go on strike. So I don't know what's up with that. Doug Vagim is here. Welcome to the program, Doug. Good
John,
to see you
good
this
to see
morning.
you.
And I need to ask you, and by the way, for those of you that don't know who Doug is, he ran for mayor. He's behind Measure G, Measure W, former Fresno County Supervisor. By the way, are you on speaking terms with City Hall these days? Just kidding.
I'm still on the commission where we're tearing down the RDA. So
okay, all right. So, but you're well versed in these kinds of union issues. You know the issues in and out. You know the law, and you know how these things work. So, I was talking to somebody today. Is this like a 1970s, 80s thing? Is to go on strike? Nobody goes on strike anymore. Are they just outdated in trying to push their agenda forward?
Well, often, John, and particularly public employee and government agencies, you hear the word strike more often nowadays than you do in private sector. Because of the collective bargaining agreements and et cetera, and because basically public employees have government agencies over the barrel because they are really strapped if they lose those employees on being able to run their district in this case. I have a fundamental problem and do not believe public employees ought to be striking. Because they have an underlying guarantee of a trough of money out of you and me and the public at large. There isn't a competitor in there to go knock them off. Now, maybe if we get a bunch of charter schools and homeschools and that kind of stuff, perhaps, but that day will not come for a very long time and probably never come because you're always going to have a public school, and they have a place in our society because they've done a lot for our society.
Yeah, they have.
They really are the melting pot of our country.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, in all cases in government agencies, where you have public employee unions, usually the turf battle begins. The employees themselves have righteous concerns, and they really do have concerns that can be, I believe, with not too much effort by both parties, I mean the district people and the employees, come to some agreement. But often enough you have union leaders who want to get the most and they push and push and push to a point where they're trying to show and dramatize to the rank and file, their members, their dues paying members, that we're really doing something for you.
Right.
So they're really pushing for the greatest amount, even beyond where maybe some people would recognize as that isn't unreasonable to back off a little bit, but yet we're pushing and pushing and even going to strike. Frankly, you mentioned the three big things that are concerns that they keep bringing up, right? Benefits, the special students that need they say it's special needs students. They say it's insufficient.
Well, they're worried about class size,
and then
class size, health benefits,
and then the health benefits. And I'm telling you, the health benefits. And I'll have to fully disclose. I have a daughter who works for Fresno Unified. She's in the music program, so they don't really have a classroom. They go from different classrooms. But
Did she vote for the strike, by the way? Or she didn't tell you, huh? She didn't say. Probably a secret.
Well, she didn't attend the meeting.
She wasn't able to attend. Yeah. Well, a lot of teachers, I'm sure, weren't because People's Church doesn't, I don't know what they hold over there, but they had a big vote. But here's the thing and I don't know what your daughter has said about this, and I have an ex-wife, I have to disclose, that works as a teacher as well. Mm-hmm. She's at Fresno Unified, and she did vote for the strike. But here's and I'm not taking sides on this, but I'm just asking, okay, if you look at the health benefits, and I don't know what you have, I know what I have, I don't know what anybody else out there has for health benefits. I know you don't have what Congress has, and I know I don't have what Congress has. But I will say this, They do have an 80-20 plan. Brooke Ashton said, we'll give you a 90-10. But if you go 80-20 and you have a $100,000 hospital bill, that means you're paying 20 grand out of pocket. That's a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, is that something that in this society, in this day and age in 2017, that, hey, teachers, you just better get on board, because that's the reality of 2017 in the health benefits world.
Well, I think the health benefits is a big issue to the rank and file at the district, because they did change. And I think your previous guests that you had on this topic, have all mentioned the fact that it was changed to the detriment of the employees.
Yeah.
And in the outlying districts, which is the ones that they keep looking at to say, our teachers are going away, we're losing teachers over there.
Yeah.
They all have better health benefit programs, especially the ones that are in the rural districts. They have to attract teachers, John, and most of the teachers or employees, and I'm not going to say the majority, perhaps it is the majority, of those outlying districts live in Fresno.
According to the negotiators, Fresno Unified is having trouble attracting teachers, luring teachers into the system.
Right, and when you go to those other
working conditions, according to what they say.
Well, some of the other districts have equally the problems, believe me. But the fact of it is, when you look at those other districts and they have a health benefit program that basically has a copay of $10.
Yeah.
And
what's their deductibles, though?
And there's no deductible.
There's no deductible.
No deductible.
Zero. And Fresno Unified doesn't have that.
Well, they had it one time.
Well,
but they went away from that because
how many years ago?
But the fact of it is, when they sit on this program, as the now superintendent said back in, I guess it was May or June of this year, in your program, that they're sitting on $100 million.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the labor folks are like bees to honey on that.
I know.
They smell it 10 miles away.
Yeah.
And they'll come to those blossoms and they'll sit on them and say, $100 million. What can we do with $100 million?
Right, but they're not asking for the full boat. They're asking for, incremental raises for the next 3 years or 4 years or whatever the heck it is. And I'm not, I've read a couple of different figures, and I know that John Bath, the chief negotiator for the union, has told me. And I guess the first year they want retroactive, 3.5%. Next couple of years they want 3%, and the district is saying, no, we'll give you 3% retroactive, and then the first year and the next 2 or 3 years, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I don't know how accurate that is, but it's probably within the ballpark. But
when I was
is a 3% raise completely out of bounds?
No.
Out of the realm of possibility?
No. As a matter of fact, there's a figure that the district knows is going to work, okay? They know what'll move it.
Why aren't they saying?
Because they don't know if they throw out their highest and best or last offer, they don't want to be pushed by the union saying, oh, they're going to go for that, we'll go for this, and we'll go to strike if they don't buy into it.
Okay.
And so it's really, honestly, a chess game right now. But the district knows what will make this thing be equilibrium to what they have right now. But if they give in to the union and they go more, something has to give on the other side. And then the district has to decide what are they going to give up.
Tell me, in your opinion, because I've gotten calls and people have asked me outside this program, why don't you get Bob Nelson to talk about this and give his side of the story about what the district is doing? And I haven't been able to get him. You've heard the story. I know you can't speak for Bob Nelson, you can't speak for the teachers, you can't speak for we're just here talking. But as a man of experience, especially in politics, and you know how these things go, Doug, why is he dodging me, it seems?
Well, I don't know why he's dodging you in the sense of just actually coming on and saying what he can say, but perhaps he's saying to himself, I can't say much, because when you're in negotiations, you can't go out of the room and start talking about it in public, because then you become unfair labor practices, where you're actually negotiating in the public.
He went on all these other stations. He went on KMJ. I think he spoke to the Bee this morning. Did he not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he from that standpoint, there's no reason why he couldn't come on your show. I don't understand it either, John. But the fact that maybe he isn't as happy with his shaved head anymore as he was before when he first got it, He's a good man.
Yeah.
I heard his story about his foster kids and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and he's a devoted parent as well as a
Yeah.
devoted public official. Look, anytime the labor is pushing management and the trustees in this case, or as an elected governing body,
Yeah.
you have politics at play here. You have egos at play here. You have one-upsmanship. We're gonna go get them. We're gonna carve out a portion of their hide out and put it in our trough. All that is going on right now.
Big time chess game, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Hey, in the terms of public perception, who's going to win out here? Would it be the teachers? Would it be the district? We'll talk to Doug on the other side about that, because public perception sometimes, it adds pressure to the situation. It's like a pressure cooker. So we'll talk about that on the other side. 436-MeTV, option 11. Do call in, do weigh in here on the program today. Where do you stand, my friends, with the teachers or with the district? Back in just a moment.
The following is another list of things you will not hear on MeTV programs. Man cave, baby bump, whatevs, double half-calf mochaccino, faux hog, redonkulous, totes adorbs, hella, holla, YOLO, cray-cray, and MeTV is still Kardashian-free. This is what you will hear on MeTV programs.
Welcome, Denham. The Twilight Zone. About Bulls.
I object, Your Honor.
Mr. Grant.
I hear you right. You heard me right.
MeTV. Thanks for listening.
Back here talking to Doug Vagim regarding the strike. So if the teachers go on strike, let's say they do, first time in 40 years, how long would it take before they start losing public support, would you say? Because that's a big issue.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it is, particularly when the district is not going to be able to fill all those slots if a majority or a vast majority of them go away. And I hope the district governing board doesn't get to a point where they do a lockout, which has happened in the past in some districts.
And so what would happen then? All those teachers would then lose their jobs? Would they lose their tenure?
Well, even the ones that don't want to strike would have to be out. And if they do a lockout.
Let's say a teacher's got 15 years already in the system, she would lose that?
No, they wouldn't get fired. They would just be locked out of coming to work, and they'd have to sit out while the rest of them who wanted to sit out are sitting.
Oh, they
out.
wouldn't necessarily be fired.
No, but but I hope the district doesn't do that. I don't think they will. But then at the other side of the coin, the district employees who are currently there, who want to cross and go to work, are going to get quite a bit of pressure.
Would suffer in terms of public relations, public perception, public pressure. Because if you look at the district, they're overstacked in their administration. They got a new superintendent now making $295,000 a year. You're overstacked in the communications department. You have 2, 3, 4, or 5 people, including the one I've been dealing with, Jessica Perez. And she came over from as a reporter from Channel 30, as I understand it. So from that standpoint, and the fact that they have all this money in the bank and they're willing to pay $2 million a day to substitute teachers to come in and do the work if the teachers walk, public perception in terms of how the district is going to be perceived versus the teachers walk out and they stay out. Well, why aren't you going to work? Why aren't you teaching my kids? Who's going to win out here? There's a lot going on both sides.
Well,
that's not good for public perception.
Yeah, and all you have to say is the very people that they keep saying that they care a lot about are the ones that are going to suffer.
Right.
And
you care so much about the kids. Why are you out for 2 months?
Right. And as soon as the public perception, and that won't be very long.
It won't take 2 months, will it?
No.
How long?
Probably maybe a week.
Really?
And the public, and the public is going to say, especially when the parents are saying, "Wait a minute, we had a project, we had all that stuff, we can't even turn it in now because the substitute doesn't even know where we are.
Doesn't know what's going on.
Very nice person, probably qualified, but they don't know what's going on, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, because they're not up to date on the information. They haven't been there, so it's no fault of theirs.
The parents are going to get, and it's just the public eye will go pretty fast on it.
All right, caller, you're on with Doug Vagim. Where do you stand on strike? Do you stand with the teachers, the district, who?
I haven't heard the district side, but I pretty much stand with the district. I'm curious as to what makes them think they deserve a higher salary when so many of them are are not teaching very good. I mean, we have gone from number 1 in the world in education when I was a child. Now we're number 30 in the world. The colleges are complaining that they're having to reteach the high school graduates before they can give them college work or college courses. More people are pulling kids out of school and putting them into the computer K-12 program and other charter schools. Why do they think they deserve more money? That's my question.
Oh.
Well, that's a good question too. But the fact of it is that anytime you're working and you're not getting a raise after a few years, you're wondering, well, what am I doing? I need to. Cost of living's going up.
Yeah.
You know, things are costing more. When I want to buy a car, it went up from one year to the next year. So all those things play into the need of having a greater salary just to keep on par
even if
with
you're
the cost of living.
Even if you're on Social Security, you get a yearly raise.
Right, you get COLAs. They're all built in.
Yeah, they're all built in.
Right.
So why don't they deserve a raise?
Well,
I mean,
essentially, some of these COLAs are already built in the salary structure already, and so this raise is on top of that. You see, this is an incremental raise on top of the normal COLAs that they've already got built in. So in other words, a lot of these folks were.
Those COLAs haven't been publicized. Well, I mean, I want to know what those are.
Well, they probably are part of the whole package that they had that they've expired on, right? So once that expires, that's it. Now, one of the things that when I was on the county board, we didn't do retroactive. If you couldn't come to your term and agree because you had so many things that we couldn't come to terms on, and we went past your deadline, we're not going backwards. And that brought them to the table pretty fast, especially when the employee said, you know, I'm not going to get back pay for resisting and walking out. No, you're not going to get back pay, and you're not going to get a raise for it for sure. So by doing the district even playing around with retroactive is causing, I believe.
Hang on, caller.
It's causing more of this. Hey, we can get tough here because the raise when we get it is going to be retroactive. How sweet is that? I think the district is making a mistake by saying not hanging tough. When we hung tough and said no retroactive, it shortened the negotiation thing up pretty quick.
If you were to hang on, caller, get to you in a moment. If you were to draw a caption in your head, like an artist rendition of what's going on, would it be something like maybe about 2,000 teachers standing in a big crowd, and there's a line in the sand, and Bob Nelson's standing at that line with a big sign that says no, 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 no. Or what's going through your head when you? Well,
I think Bob Nelson and the other trustees, or the majority of the trustees anyway, and I'm sure all of them, want to do something for the teachers and the other employees in the district, the rank and file. I firmly believe that they have a figure in mind. As a matter of fact, they've already floated figures around, right?
Well, both sides have. They just don't want, the union just rejected the most recent offer.
But what the union folks are looking at, not the rank and file that you had in here and that kind of stuff. They see that $100 million, and they're going to go after that pot of money as much as they possibly can, and that's the leadership of the labor. That's the professional labor leader. Okay.
All right.
That's their job. I don't fault them for that. The fact of it is, the district has a responsibility that they want to preserve a big chunk of that $100 million, whatever they can preserve. Honestly, everyone believes the teachers and the rank and file deserve a COLA raise and everything else, and a step raise, whatever is due based on what the analysis is. However, what the district has got to have to be analyzing, John, this state is in a world of hurt.
Yeah, but it's not like the district's going to run out of money.
Well,
we'll get more.
Well, we could come to when the income tax thing changes, when they stop you're not allowed to take a deduction on your state income tax anymore, particularly the high earners that don't take this automatic deduction. This state is going to be in a world of hurt.
All right, caller, you're on the air with Doug Vagim. Go ahead. Caller, go ahead.
Hi, I'm for the teachers.
Yeah, you're a teacher?
No, I'm for the teachers.
Okay, tell us why.
Because the teachers have so much responsibility. The classes are overcrowded. They have little to work with. And then when they have special projects and stuff, they have to spend their own money to go out and buy school supplies. My grandchild came home and said that they're asking for Kleenex and hand sanitizer at school. So why are if they got all this money, what are they doing with the money if they don't want to get a teacher's raise?
Yeah, I think no one disagrees with you on that. I surely don't disagree.
Thank you.
The issue is just how much. What is that figure that's going to make everyone move?
Your daughter now is a teacher. How many kids in her class?
Well, music programs are unique because you can have quite a few more than the average class size because you have gatherings of folks with different instruments. But the average class size is an issue that's, I think, sometimes misunderstood because you remember, you can have a 30, you can say, oh, we're going to bring it down to 30 or we're going to bring it down to 25. But when you have an attendance level that fluctuates 15 to 20 to 30% each and every day, you could be down to teaching 12 kids because you have no shows. So that's why you stock up at 30, 35, because your no-shows bring you down to really at an average attendance of 28. Even though on your books you show 35. Why? Because you want to get that daily receipt from the state of California because they pay up per diem on every time a kid shows up.
Yeah, if a kid misses school, the district loses out on
That's
money.
right. And they try to do everything they can to make sure that kid...
Yeah, to get you to school.
Right.
All right. 436, MeTV, option 11. What's important to you as far as teaching is concerned? Is it the district? Is it the teachers? Are they overpaid, overworked? What is it? Call in and weigh in back in a moment.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Back here on the program with Doug Vagim. We're talking about the teachers' strike, and I look, how difficult would it be to teach a class of 40 kids, and let's say 9 kids don't show up that day? Okay, you're down to 31. That's still a high number, Doug.
Well, it is, but what is that? What is the appropriate number in any district that shows the fluctuation of no-shows and absences, illnesses, etc.?
Yeah.
And that's a balancing act the district management has to play each and every day, and particularly analyze it for their district and for the school year, and for the different age groups within the school year. Class size, obviously, if you can get it down as small as possible, the better you have instruction, the more attentive the teacher can be to each student.
It goes without saying.
It goes without saying. But the fact that the reality check is there's only so much money in the budget on the table, and if you go pluck all that money out of their district reserve fund to go do it for benefits and everything else, then the district is going to be in a world of hurt. When things, and I do believe that things are going to get a little bit more tighter when the state starts seeing the reality check of Governor Brown's spending.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Please mute your TV if you can. Caller?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I am.
You are on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for taking the call. I taught for 1 year. That was not my forte or what I went to college for, but I took a job in teaching the field in which I did get my degree. And I must say that teachers need to stop whining and complaining, because I was making 3/4 of what I made in the private sector, and I had summers off and all kinds of vacation time that I would have never gotten in the private sector at all. And so the world's smallest violin for the teachers. Okay, they're the only aspect of that job that I'll say is extremely tough, and they have a very valid point, is the misbehavioral patterns of many students, especially in certain schools, and how their parents are not involved. And there's ways to fix those problems, and that's where you have to have the fixing in the education system. We don't need more money. perhaps if we incentivized parents to actually come into the schools once a week to join the classes, 3 or 4 of them per day, or something like that, their kids would start behaving in class, or they'd at least see how their kids are not behaving in class and start to do more at home. And we could send a lot of kids onto home studies that I had ACE students that did not need to be in the classroom. They didn't need my help. They were naturally motivated. If they were able to just do a home studies thing and check into the school once a week to turn in work and get next week's work, that could cut 1/3 of the size of the campus right there. And then I could have focused in on those students who did need my help and my expertise. I left the job after my first year because it was a tryout year and I had the option of staying or going. I left it because, quite frankly, I thought of the school system as being archaic compared to what I had seen in the corporate world, or even the changes I saw from the school world. Also, they let these kids through with terrible grades, but they always give them that gentleman C for some reason. It's endemic within the system that there's kids that I taught seniors. The kids that I had, many of them could not even speak 6th grade level English, or write at a 6th grade level, and mine was supposed to be an advanced placement class. Anyhow,
let me
let you guys
ask you a question.
There.
Hey, caller, let me ask you a question. What line of work are you in now?
I actually work in sales, and I do a little bit of what you do. I'm in broadcasting. I taught marketing and public relations as an elective at a school in the North Valley, so too far from Fresno, and so the students weren't very much different from here.
Yeah.
And
where do you work in broadcasting here?
Well, I work at a radio station. You probably would know who I am.
Well, what's your first name?
Jeff.
Oh, okay. Is this Jeff Crow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I taught
Jeff.
Before.
All right, Jeff, I know who you are.
Yeah, I taught before, so.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I know this part of it, too. I'm not just some guy who's a conservative who's making observations from the peanut gallery. I was in the trenches, and I understand the issues that they have. But their solutions have been just dumb it down as much as possible, complain about salaries, when the salaries are very good, actually, in teaching.
Right, but here's the thing, Jeff, and I want to give Doug some time too, and I got a second guest coming on, so I'm kind of short on time. But I want to ask you a question. Why don't you think the teachers deserve better health benefits and maybe even a 3.5% raise over the next 3 years?
No, I don't. I think that if you want to give them a raise, lower the number of students by allowing the A and B students the option of doing most of their work at home via the internet, and then that way the school still gets the subsidy because the students are enrolled and they check in that route, do their schoolwork that route, and the teacher ends up doing less work.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Jeff, you're going to have to, I know you have a radio show on 1680 AM, is that right?
Yes,
yeah,
I do, every Saturday from 2 to 3.
All right. So we'll have to get you on as a guest on this program at some point. Just give me a call.
Absolutely.
Give me a call. You got my number. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Jeff.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Good points.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, he's absolutely correct. One day, not maybe today, but the schools are going to have to change to the very adaptation of outside education of those who can do it. Still get their per diem money, and actually lessen the cost
What about letting some of those students, like he said, do some work at home?
That's what I'm just saying. They would be out of the four walls.
Oh, you're talking about the students.
Students,
now.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood.
That's what he
Sorry.
was talking about.
Okay,
They would do their work. They would keep up on the internet. That type. They would show up for either exams.
What would the purpose of that be?
Well, first of all, you're
So you're
unloading.
trying to reduce class size?
You're not only reducing class size, but you're reducing the impact of having more and more buildings and extra costs.
But how do we choose who those students are? They
Well,
have
he's
to be
saying
self-reliant.
he's saying A and B students. Okay, he put a thing.
Okay, but they're A and B students in a formal setting. How do we know that they're going to be self-reliant and self-motivated?
Well, you do it through examination, but
I don't know. That seems complex.
Well,
to me, but
Jeff obviously has some ideas on it, but my point is things are going to change. They have to change, John.
Yeah.
Because look, we are now. If you look at your property tax bill,
hang on, caller.
if
Yeah,
you look
go
at your property tax bill,
I'm going to look at it when I go home.
Okay, go look at it. When Proposition 13 passed, that said we're going to pay 1% on our property tax for our value of our home, right?
That was back in the 70s.
Right. Now we're paying 1.25%.
Right.
What is it? Why? Because of all the bonds they put on there. And most of them are Fresno Unified bonds, some are state JC bonds, that type of thing. My point is, you have all this extra money pouring in from our tax dollars that is extra money.
Yeah.
And when you start putting more and more of a load on expenses, that means there's going to be a requirement somewhere to get that money. And I guarantee you this state is not going to be able to stay the way it is much longer because the programs that they put in place are so high cost, those bricks are going to start crumbling. And these educators, I know that, and that's why they're protecting a $100 million reserve, because there's going to be some of that implosion.
All right, I'm going to go straight through until the next guest. Is that okay? It's only a couple of minutes. We'll take this call here. You've been waiting, patient. All right, caller, what's your take on the potential strike?
Well, I think Fresno Unified really is not going to listen to the teachers. I saw Brooke Ashton with Tish Rice on the KC24 morning thing on Sunday, and he was talking about taking class size and discipline and turning that into a district policy where only the school board and the district has autonomy over making decisions on those two items, and then leaving the teachers completely out. And obviously the teachers want that to be a part of their collective bargaining agreement. So, the district is showing no give in terms of that. They're not showing any type of respect towards the teachers in terms of class size and so forth. And I think going over 435 days in terms of negotiations, I think that's really a clue in terms of how the district is really set in its ways. I mean, you had one superintendent, Michael Hansen, who was totally against the teacher union, and you have Bob Nelson, who, though a nice guy and everything, is really just as stubborn. And so I think the teachers are really frustrated now. I think the district is sort of holding the kids up as a human shield and saying, well, if you strike, it's bad for the kids. But really what they should be saying is, if we don't work and get a collective bargaining agreement with the teachers, then that should be good for the kids. So I think the district is really holding up the students as a human shield, and I think that's really wrong.
All right, let me ask you both a question, and Doug, I'll let you respond to that. Caller, am I correct when I say that the teachers union in the state of California is one of the strongest in the entire state, if not the nation? Am I right about that?
Yeah,
caller?
it's one of the strongest in the nation, but most likely because it has the largest number of teachers in the nation. So numbers make it strong. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is.
All right, caller, thank you very much for calling in. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is one of the strongest unions in this, not only in the state.
Beat. Are they going to be difficult?
Well, look, the district has, when the gentleman is saying that the district is saying that they're only going to have the staff, or the executive staff, and the trustees make these decisions and leave the teachers. I don't think, if he's saying that, if a trustee is saying that, they're wrong. It is
hang on, caller.
Collective bargaining is a reality. It is it's lawful. It's here. Yeah. It has to be a two-way street, but at the same time, the two-way streets, the door swings both ways.
I want to take this call quickly before we go to break here. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. One final segment here with Doug Vagim on this. Go ahead.
Yeah, the California Teachers Association is very strong. It's strong-armed California for a long time, just like the prison guard union, and unfortunately they're doing the same thing. They're keeping our kids captive and not looking at really what the best thing is. You know, they had this local control funding formula, this LCAP, and accountability plan where they, you know, got 10% more for underperforming districts, and the first thing they do is want to increase their wages, and we have over $10,000 we're spending per student, and yet we're almost 49th in the nation with results, and that's what I go at. So these people that want to defend the teachers and say that they're holding the kids up as shield, or the district is, I say that's exactly the reverse. You're not respecting those kids by teaching them and preparing them for the future. And the California Teachers Association is insidious. The things that they've defended, a teacher down in Los Angeles, you know, sexually abusing his kids. You know, and you look up and down the valley, the pedophiles we have in the school districts up and down the valley, and why aren't they self-reporting? If this was the Catholic Church asking for a raise, you'd see a lot more pushback against it. But instead, we're not looking at the results that we're doing out there with the children, and they are our most precious resource. It's not about class size. You know, we have this discipline. This is just a cover for the failure of Common Core, and they need to realize it. In 500 days of negotiation, I say if they don't go along with the plan, get rid of them. Thank you for your time. I love your show.
Okay, thank you. Doug, quick response, and then we'll go on to our other guests.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming in, by the way.
You bet.
Go ahead.
Well, the gentleman is right, and the fact of it is that I believe governing bodies of local governments, whether it's a school district or a city or a county, are going to have to meet the metal and get tougher on what they stand for and what their mission is. Believe me, I don't believe there's a teacher in this district that doesn't have the full thoughts of the students that they teach. There's no doubt about it.
But I got to say, years ago, if someone wanted a job as a teacher and you were to sit down and question them and say, what's the number one reason you want to be a teacher? And you know what the number one answer would be? Hey, I have summers off, I have all the holidays off, and by the way, I got great health benefits in retirement. That would be I think the two reasons they would go into that line of work. Am I right? So that may not be the case anymore.
Well, I don't think you can stay as a teacher if you don't love teaching. I don't think you can.
I understand, but am I right about the two reasons? You've heard that.
Well, obviously, government has always been, you know, the old adage is you're salary poor and benefit rich, right? That was the old adage.
Which ain't bad.
Which is not bad. Now, one of the things that the whole issue of getting the safety within the class or within the school straightened out, because there is some fights and that kind of stuff. The teachers are actually scared.
Yeah.
And the district needs to tackle that. And I'm telling you, the big issue for these teachers, and it's not going to get better and it's not going to get easier, is the whole health benefit program.
Yeah, I got to go.
It's going to be very expensive for
Doug,
them.
thank you for coming on. I appreciate it very much. And we'll see you next month.
Anytime.
Our
Thanks, John.
Doug Vagim. All right. Former supervisor, ran for mayor as well. And we'll be back with our next guest here on Connect with Me. Our much thanks to Doug Vagim. Back in a moment.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
When you like Ventura TV appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Unscramble.
Sing, honey, sing. Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be a guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
Try me.
Me. That's memorable, that's me.
That's me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
Back here on the program on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno, time to change the topic, and that topic is high-speed rail and businesses across the Central Valley. Our next guest, of course, is going to come on in just a few moments, but first I want to roll a piece of videotape in just a second because I want to set this up, and that is the fact that this happened about 2 years ago. This business owner, a local man, very well liked, very well respected, got a letter. He got notice from the High-Speed Rail Authority, hey, you're going to have to move. Oh my God, shockwaves through the Shima household, my friends. He didn't know if he was going to go out of business. He didn't know what was going to happen. What was the future of Gymnastics Beat? Now, fast forward 2 years later to 2017, Sam is in a new building, a new location, all with the help of High-Speed Rail Authority and also the Economic Development Corporation here in Fresno County. Check out this piece produced by the High-Speed Rail Authority and Juanita Stevenson.
Jumping, climbing, tumbling. Welcome to the new home of Fresno's Gymnastics Beat.
It was started with my wife and I with a dream, because we're both ex-gymnasts, of creating our own gym.
And that's what Sam Shima and his wife did.
Whoa, nice.
Just not at this location.
The original center was located off of Golden State and West Barstow Avenue, only about a half mile from here.
That original location is also on the alignment for the California High-Speed Rail System. So about 2 years ago, Sam got the notice that he needed to move.
Well, like most business owners or most people who are in this situation, you panic.
Shima wasn't so upset about the actual moving.
Even in a few years from now, we would have had to do the same thing anyway.
But more concerned about finding a new location close enough to the old spot to keep his customers.
7, 8.
That also met Gymnastic Beat's unique requirements.
For gymnastic centers like ours, we need at least about 20 feet ceiling height.
1, 2.
Especially when you're doing high-level training.
Thanks to help from the Fresno Economic Development Corporation, local realtors, and the California High-Speed Rail Authority, Gymnastics Beat found its new 18,000 square foot home that gives the kids and the business room to grow.
We're anticipating about a 20% annual growth rate for the next 2 or 3 years. Great job, great job!
A new location that's truly something to flip over.
So far, everybody loves it.
Live in our studio now is the owner of Gymnastics Beat. Sam Shima is a good friend of this program, and I appreciate you coming in on the tail end of Doug Vagim. They're talking about a teacher's strike. Now we're going to a business, a local business, private, obviously private industry, private corporation. And so, you know, I heard you say in that piece, Sam, that you were going to have to move anyway at some point. So this just kind of, you know, it moved the process along a little quicker. Is that true?
Absolutely, John. We were experiencing an annual growth rate of about 15%, 20% since the recession. And we estimated we would have had to move probably in about another year to 2 anyway.
Oh.
And it just so happened that 2 years ago we got our notice. And we thought, okay, let's see if this can work. But again, it took 24 months actually to look for buildings, select buildings, at least 20 of them. And 20 buildings, yes, 20 buildings.
Wow.
And it takes time out of our hands. You know, we could not get all of our, you know, we had to rearrange schedules. We had to bring our management team out. We had to look at office space. There were a lot of things involved instead of just looking for a building.
Yeah.
But we found one.
Sure.
And then we moved just a few months ago. We still have lots of work to do, but we're happy with the large size, and the crowds are still coming.
Hey, listen, we've got 5 minutes here to talk about this. I want you to talk about your big grand opening tomorrow. Okay. When, where, what time? Give me the address.
Well, it's Friday, tomorrow, Friday, from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's only for about an hour. Pretty much for formalities. We're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony. We'll have food provided by Teriyaki Don, and of course everybody loves Teriyaki Don's food.
Sure.
And Louis, the owner there, I've known him for so many years now. He's helped us in our first grand opening, actually, 14 years ago.
Wow.
So I asked him, hey, Louis, would you like to help out again? So he said absolutely. We'll have demonstrations by some of our team members, kids, and our staff members as well. So it's a great opportunity to have people, maybe during their lunch hour.
Politicians will be available too.
We hope Mayor Lee Brand will be there along with
him,
along with our mayoral staff and anybody is welcome to come, of course.
Right. Now, do you have any high-speed rail authority people coming?
Yes, they will be.
You do?
Yes.
All right. Now, you know Leanne Eager.
Yes.
She was here just on Tuesday, Economic Development Corporation from Fresno County.
Yes.
How did she help you?
EDC is a wonderful organization that helps businesses, all businesses, with whatever needs, whether it's finances, whether it's location, whether it's human resources. If they can't find the answer, they'll seek out the answer. So during the recession, John, almost 10 years ago, we sought out the help from EDC as well. And back then, Steve Guile was the president and CEO of EDC, and he hooked us up with a bank, and we were able to consolidate loans. A lot of business owners, they have to have financial help. And if you can't find it, then EDC was there to at least have choices. And so they helped me out. They helped us out 10 years ago, and they're helping us out again with the transition. And that was great. Wonderful of them.
Yeah, now you're talking about a building that's 1,800 square feet.
18,000.
18,000.
Sorry,
18,000. I'm sorry, 1,800. I'm thinking of a house. 18,000 square feet.
Right.
Are your members happy with the new building?
Most of them are. Of course, we moved within half a mile of our existing building.
What's the address?
4589.
Maybe we can put the graphic.
4589 West Jacqueline.
Does it have the address on there? I can't see.
It's right behind Costco on West Shaw.
Okay, right behind Costco.
Right.
West
So
Shaw.
we knew that at least 99% of our customers would stay within our general area, but because we are larger, we're expecting more crowds as well. So you know how most of us are. We don't like large crowds, but the demand is there, John. The Olympic sport of gymnastics is always popular. Simone Biles, who won the gold medal last year for the USA team, we've gotten calls like crazy. Little girls, boys, they all want gymnastics.
Right. Now, have you seen a growth in your business in the last year or two? And do you foresee, I'm sure you've done the projections, in the next 2 or 3 years, are you saying to yourself, my God, I'm glad I moved into this new bigger building with 18,000 square feet because I'm projecting growth at what rate?
I'm expecting growth at 20%, which is not bad, which is not bad at all.
Wow, 20% in terms of clientele?
Yes.
Well, you're going to need that space then.
Yes, absolutely. That's why we project, and any business would have to do the same. If you have a restaurant, whether you have a daycare, and people are just coming to you, they want cheerleading, they want gymnastics, they want acrobatics, they want ninja warrior training, rope climbing, whatever you call it, we have it.
Yeah. Can you sleep better at night, you and your wife?
After 2 years of going through this, yes, John, we can.
Wow, now you can rest. All right, the grand opening again. Let's put up that graphic real quick again before we go off the air. There it is, tomorrow at noon, right? Or no, 11:30.
11:30, yep.
Gymnastics Beat. You can
come
see
on
the
down.
Address. Come on down. Sam Shima, you're going to have to come back for the full hour next time.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
talk about your new place.
Okay.
18,000 square feet.
That's right.
All right, tomorrow at 11:30, Gymnastics Beat. Sam, good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Give our best to your wife, too, because she's a partner of yours.
Yep.
She's also the part owner, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11:30.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Sam Shima, the owner of Gymnastics Beat. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Tomorrow we have Oliver Baines, the city councilman. Hasn't been on in a while, so we'll talk to him about all sorts of things. Have a good day.